you can literally learn how to do your makeup based off of your features and accentuate what you love the best and what God has already given you. And I think that when we forget that part is when we get into the people who are like trying to change their looks with makeup. And while there's a misconception of like, oh, well, if you wear makeup, you think you're ugly, like, correction, that's not the case. It just makes me feel better. It doesn't mean that I don't like what God has already given me. It's the same way, like I said, if you get your hair done or your nails done, are you saying like, oh, I don't like the natural hair that God already given me? No, you're saying I need to take care of it.
Hi, and welcome to another episode and another season of the Woman Witness podcast on the Woman Witness TV network. On this podcast, we bring to you dynamic stories of faith and resilience and transformation to empower, strengthen, and inspire you on your journey with God, your family, and community. Each episode, we dive into the lives of incredible women who have faced challenges and embraced their calling and found courage to rise above and rise stronger. Here at The Well, we believe that every story is a testimony to God's grace and his goodness. And together we can grow, we can uplift each other, and we can support one another. So join us today as we connect with another woman, another dynamic woman of faith and beauty. Through her story, we hope that it inspires you and it encourages you to find beauty from within and do it simplistically. So today I'm going to introduce to you my guest. But before I do, I'm going to read a little bit about her. Just a little bit. Today on the Woman Witness podcast, we are interviewing Miss Destiny McKoy, a former paralegal who is now a stay-at-home mom of 3 beautiful children and also a business owner. Destiny is the founder of Faith and Beauty, drawing from her background as a certified makeup artist and life coach to empower millennial moms to find balance and confidence and success in both their personal and professional lives. In addition to Destiny's business, Destiny hosts a podcast called Motherhood Makeup Mindset, where she shares inspiring stories of fellow mompreneurs and give practical tips in creating a supportive community for women striving to excel in motherhood and pursue their dreams. Destiny's vision is to establish a space where moms can connect and support one another, master work-life balance, and engage with like-minded women of faith. That's my kind of girl. I'm so excited to introduce to you my guest today, Miss Destiny McKoy. Destiny, welcome to The Well.
Hi, thank you for having me. That was awesome.
Hey, I'm just reading what you do. Thanks for being here, Destiny. I'm so excited to have you on. And I told you at the beginning of this, I'm excited to just talk about the simplicities of bringing a little bit of beauty into our daily routine. I am all here for it. But before I give you back the floor, Destiny, let me just turn it over. I'm sorry. Before I continue to talk, let me turn the floor over to you and ask you just introduce yourself. Tell us just a little bit about you.
Oh, wow. Okay, so I am Destiny. I have all the things that you so eloquently described. I am a mom of 3. They are 10, 6, and 3. I have been married to my husband for 10 years, and I've been doing Faith and Beauty for a little over 2.5 years now. And it has definitely been a passion of mine, starting with some of my own experiences and realizing that community was really important to me, especially as a mom, and that a lot of the things that I was going through was very similar to the moms that were around me were going through. And I felt like there has to be a solution. So we got to figure it out one way or another. And I've always been in church, but it was through literally through all of this that I feel like my relationship with God got a lot stronger. And that has played a major role in the things that I do now. Even if I'm not openly, like talking about it, God is definitely the foundation of everything, because I can't do anything without going to God first. So he's definitely a part of Faith and Beauty. A lot of people actually don't know my middle name is Faith. So it's kind of a double thing.
That's so cute. Oh my gosh.
There's a lot mixed into the name. But yeah, I'm really happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Well, thank you for being here. And I love how you just started off with your faith and beauty, right? So, and it's your middle name. So how amazing, how ironic is that? So can you share with us a little bit about how your faith journey influenced your approach to the beauty industry, or in the beauty ministry that you've taken on?
Wow. I guess, like I said, I grew up in the church that I attend now, so it's always been a part of my life. But I think as I got older, I realized that my relationship with God wasn't just, mom praying, dad praying, the family praying. It had to become a lot more personal. And when I'm now responsible for other people, and I have to, try to be the wife that I need to be, the mother that I need to be, it was like a light bulb, like, okay, I can't do this by myself. So it started there. And I was going through my own kind of journey in learning self-care all over again. Even though I am a makeup artist, there was a period where I kind of got in my own slump, to be honest. During the pandemic, kind of like a lot of other people, I had been let go from a job. It was a whole lot going on. We had just had my son, and I was in a really weird space. And I felt like one of the things that I was basically praying about was like, where did I go? Where did Destiny go in all of this? Because I felt like at the time we had just started homeschooling. Like I said, it was a pandemic. It was craziness. We were stuck home. And I'm like, I don't even know who I am anymore, because I feel like I'm giving. And there's nothing left. And one of the things that came to mind was that I did have these passions and these things that I enjoyed, like makeup. And I kind of just pushed them aside because I got busy. And I thought that, my career was supposed to be what I was focused on, because it was more financially stable and all of these things. But realizing that now that I look back, there was time and time again where it wasn't working out. And it took a while for that light bulb to go off, actually, and be like, okay, I'm supposed to be doing something else. And when I picked up the makeup brushes again, and I just started doing, 10, 15 minutes in the morning for myself, as I'm taking care of a newborn and 2 other kids and trying to get through the pandemic and survive, then it was like, okay, wait. Let me figure out how to actually do this with other women. Because before that, I had worked at a makeup counter before, but I was kind of just doing my own, doing like my sister. I would do people here and there, but it wasn't until that situation that I was like, no, I think I don't want to learn through UT University. I actually want to, and there's no shade to that, but like me, I had to go all out, of course. And I was like, no, I want to know the foundations of it. I want to know how to help women on a better level than just we all do the same look. And it was kind of just all weaved in together. And then the more that God started walking me through that, I started realizing, like, wait, there's more. There's more that these moms are dealing with, including myself. But when you see it in other moms, and you're like, I can't convince you to put on makeup if I see that there's more going on. You don't actually feel like you have the time. You don't feel like you're worth the time. You don't feel like you deserve the time, whatever it was. And I'm like, okay, now, God, I need you to show me what else is there. Like, what else do I need to be able to help them on a deeper level? Yeah, we're still going to talk about makeup. We're still going to talk about confidence. But how can I get you to understand you actually do have that 15 minutes and we can make it a goal? But we got to get you there before I start throwing products at you, because now I'm just talking to a brick wall.
Hold on, Destiny. I love everything that you're saying. I want to back it up to where you said that during that time, during the pandemic, and I think a lot of us women can contest to, and men, right? can attest to it, that there was a lot going on, and being able to actually hear that voice of God saying, you know what, there's more that I instilled in you. And then looking back, I love what you said, looking back at how you noticed that some of those, jobs that you were working, the doors have closed on them. And you never really knew that God was actually using all these different components to build you to strive in what you're doing right now. Can you talk to some of us about being able, because I think some of us think it's like this audible voice is in, Destiny, do this, Leah, take this left turn and right turn. Tell us how that unfolded. What did that look like to you? What did it sound like to you?
Oh man. That particular thing, I think it was more like a thought, because I think you're right. We always assume it's going to be like this big thunderous voice that says, hey, go
like
come do this. And sometimes he actually talks to us through our own thoughts, and we think it's like, oh, I just had this idea, but we can clearly see now it wasn't just an idea. It was something that I had to start with, or it could be someone else tells you, and then that's confirmation. Like, I think that God has multiple different ways of getting our attention and talking to us. But for that particular scenario, I believe it was just me thinking one day and going, I actually haven't done my makeup in a long time, and I genuinely loved doing it. But if I backtrack just a little bit, I stopped when I was working at that makeup counter, because a lot of the women that I worked with were more of the full glam girlies. And as you've seen in my content, I can do it,
right?
But I'm more of a natural. My mom taught me that my makeup was supposed to enhance my features and not like change them,
Alter them.
Yes, alter them. So there was a lot of clashing at that point. So I kind of put it aside then mentally, just like, oh, you know what, I'm not even going to fight it, because at the time I felt like I was way more timid, so to speak. So it was just like, you know what, I have all these other things.
What was clashing, Destiny? What was the clashing? Was it clashing within, or clashing like, staying in your lane and letting them do their thing? What was where's the clashing coming in?
When you put it like that, I think it was a little bit of both. I think it was me not wanting to constantly fight against it, because we would have clients that would specifically ask for me to help them with stuff. And then it was like, a lot of that going on. And I wasn't as bold then to just be like, you know what, no, I'm going to stick to what I know. It felt more like, okay, maybe because that's what society was doing at the time, maybe this just isn't for me. So I'm going to stick with what I'm going to school for, because, I like that too. So we're going to do that.
Yeah. Interesting. I like that. Okay. So you talked to us a little bit about, and you kind of introduced what inspired you to, get back out there, inspired you to start helping other women. You said that it was working for you. So, perhaps it can work for other women too. Understanding the needs of a mom, obviously with you being a mom, right? And you understanding the workload that comes along with it. What are some of the common misconceptions about makeup that you hear from working moms as well as stay-at-home moms?
I think the biggest one is I don't have time. And I think that comes from us thinking that it has to be this hour-long process.
Yeah.
And it doesn't, unless you want it to be.
Right.
And that's why I'm trying to get people to understand there's a signature look. So if you are not a makeup girly and you kind of just want to not look like you just rolled out of bed, that's not going to take an hour. But if you scroll on Instagram and TikTok and all you see is contour and lashes and heavy makeup, then you're going to assume that is the only way to do your makeup. And it's not. Yeah. Lashes are makeup, but so is mascara. And so is lip gloss, actually. Yep. But if you feel better with the mascara, the concealer, and the lip gloss, and that took you 10 to 15 minutes, once we get to a place where you can just throw it on, it's not as complicated as we assume that it is, if we're not looking at what is pushed out to us 24/7.
Interesting. I like that. And that is so true. That's so true, because I could tell you there are sometimes I'm like, I can't do it. Especially when I go drop off a pickup, like, don't you need nothing? Because I'm not getting out of this car. I done put some glasses on. I had to go right here so you can't see nothing. I can't see that. We both like that. Like, I don't have time. So, right? Okay, so And that's real. Let's just be clear.
It is.
That is so real. Okay, so can you talk to some of us authors? How can moms shift that mindset and see that makeup is as a form of self-care rather than a chore? Like, oh, I gotta do
it. I think changing what you just said, you don't have to do it. I think when you look at it like you're treating yourself to something, like we treat ourselves to get our hair done and we treat ourselves to get our nails done and things like that. But then we look and we're like, I still look like I haven't slept in 3 weeks. Then
yeah,
it's a perspective shift, to be honest. And I think people may also assume that like I'm like that all the time. There are plenty of days, like you said, where I'm like, oh snap, we gotta go to Target. I'm not about to worry about putting, no. I don't have time. But I understand there's a time and a place. And I also understand that if I happen to, especially as an entrepreneur, if I happen to run into somebody and we get on that topic, now it's like, oh shoot. I am not prepared to have this conversation right now because I didn't take that 10 minutes. And I think finding the time that works for you helps too. Because a lot of the times that I do get ready, in that 10 to 15 minute span, it's before my kids get up. So I could be straight for the majority of the rest of the day if we do have to run out. And then those conversations that come up when I'm supposed to be promoting myself, I don't feel like, I'm not even going to bring that up.
Come on. Hold on. What you said is so powerful. And it is so good because I love the way that you're throwing it in two different ways. I'm sorry, you're giving it to us in two different ways. And that two different ways that makes complete sense, right? We say we normally we do not have the time, but whatever we feel comfortable in, right? Yeah. If we allow ourselves 10 minutes in the morning, and most of us don't, I'm not going to lie, with 3 kids myself, 3 little ones, trying to get them out the door, I just don't allow myself the time. Right. However, I'm not going to lie. Some days more so than often, but there are those days that I don't have time. Yeah. I will throw some, a little bit of, powder, mascara, like you were saying before, and some, just in case I have to have those cups. I'm getting ahead of myself. When we feel better, we are more amped to walk around and speak to people. And I believe that God did not put us here on this earth to walk around and not speak to nobody. Because we're not feeling good within ourselves because we maybe didn't give ourselves 10 minutes to get ourselves together, right? Yeah. So that way we miss an opportunity to go out and be a witness. Ooh. Okay. I'm sorry. I got to calm down and get ahead of myself.
No, that's good. That is...
Right. Okay. So what are some I don't want to get ahead of myself, but I want to talk to you about simplifying the makeup routine, right? Mm-hmm. You said give yourself 10 minutes. What are some thoughtful, helpful tips to help like individualize those moms in that makeup routine without feeling overwhelmed?
So in the mommy makeover class that I do, it's a 15-minute look. And to be honest, it doesn't even have to take 15 minutes, but I give the 15 minutes because I feel like you're still learning, you're still, adjusting. I think your brows, even if you don't fill them in, if they are the way that you want them to be, right, and not just all wild and crazy, and a little concealer, because we have late nights where we're up working, we're up cleaning up, we're up with the kids. There's always some reason why we actually physically look tired, and a little bit of concealer can go a long way in making you feel like I said, you didn't just roll out of bed. And then the lip gloss. It don't even have to be like a lipstick. It doesn't have to be the liner. Like I would much rather moms start where they feel more comfortable, because to be honest, makeup is also really expensive. Yeah. So I feel like if we're starting with making sure your brows, which basically shape your face, if your brows are not done, it throws off everything else. You can have on a full face of makeup, and if your brows are not done, it's going to look weird. So, making sure that those 3 things are done, I think makes a major difference, because honestly, if you don't get that foundation, everything else is going to sound like gibberish. I can't say, okay, well, now you have foundation and you have blush and you have all these things without you looking at me like I'm crazy, because we didn't start with the first couple of steps.
Right. Right. Hold on. And I love that you said that. And if we were to be honest, especially right now, I believe that, the trend of the the microblading, right?
Yeah.
And the individual lashes, I'm not going to lie, they have been, and I look, I'm not gonna, deny it.
Yeah.
I do my lashes,
Uh-huh.
and I tried the microblade, but they didn't stay. That's a whole nother story. But no, it did not stay. I went like 3-4 times, and they were like, "Oh, your skin's oily, this and that." I'm like, whatever. So, but I've managed a routine, a quick little routine. I will share real quick since we're talking about it. Of this like stencil brow. It's called Wonder Brow, and I literally take it and I put it on.
Yeah.
And you're right. Like that is it. As long as I have my lashes done, I'll throw these little eyebrows on it. And
Yep.
sometimes they be all crazy, but I don't know. I just do what I can. Okay. I'll give myself time. And you're right. That some lip gloss, baby, I'm out of here. And
Right.
I feel better. And I
Yes.
believe that's where the connection is most powerful at. How do you feel?
Yes.
How you feeling?
Yeah.
Okay, talk about how we feeling. Let's implement this faith into beauty. How can moms integrate their makeup routine in their busy schedule without sacrificing that personal time with their family and themselves?
So when I was doing it, when I first started doing it again, I looked at it as my self-care time. So it wasn't like something that I was reluctant to do. I would, put on music, or now I've made my tea, or whatever it is
Yeah,
that made it feel less than a chore, really.
that's it.
Because really it's about the atmosphere that you said. I could be watching something, I could be, like I said, listening to music or sipping some tea or whatever. And I also get up before my kids because I'm one of those people where I don't like being needed the second that
Yes,
my eyes open. It sets me off on a bad note
true.
from the jump. So
Yeah,
I get up before them, and right now I get up around 6, which sounds like really, really early, but I do my devotional time. So I spend my time reading the Bible and or listening to a sermon or something first. And then after that is, okay, if I know that I have to record something or I have to do content or whatever today, now I'm going to do my makeup real quick. Or
yeah,
now I'm going to hurry up and, answer these emails or engage on social media or something because I have maybe 30 minutes before my son gets up. And
yeah,
then I go on to do the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. Now, there are times where maybe I didn't get a chance to do it in the morning and I have to give myself grace because I'm also exhausted, realistically. So
yeah.
if I just make sure that the time with God is more important, then some point during that morning or that afternoon, if I know that I have to put some makeup on, or I feel like I need to put some makeup on for my own personal self, then I can squeeze that in at some point throughout the day too. Because my older two a little bit older, so I can say like, hey, I need 15 minutes.
Yeah, 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 yeah. That is so good, and I love what you said. I'm sorry, and I want to just can I highlight this before we move forward?
Yeah.
You said that you give yourself that time, that those first 30 minutes to spend that time with God and in your word, and I think it's so important. And I'm going to tell you, for some of those women who are listening right now, if you do not do that, that is
Mhm.
fine. Let's be clear, because
Yeah.
I think that it's a routine. It's something that you have to continue to do
Yeah.
on a consistent basis. And I think it's so important. It sets, like you said, Destiny, it sets your tone for the day.
It is.
It takes that. I'm not gonna lie, when I don't give even if I'm not opening my Bible, I may listen to a scripture,
Mhm.
laying there in bed. It's not good. I'm not telling y'all to do that, but you got to
Yeah.
start somewhere, okay? It sets me off because I'm like, ooh, I know they about to make me scream, but I'm not gonna scream today.
Yeah.
Different things that you have to talk to yourself. You got to talk to yourself, right? Okay. I love that you said that, and I just wanted to highlight that. Okay, in what ways do you see the makeup application and the opportunity to practice self-care and self-love and how does that express the unique beauty that God has given each one of us?
You have some good questions. I think it expresses it because everybody has their signature style and their signature features. Everybody looks different, which is also the problem when we're all trying to mimic one makeup look. It's you can literally learn how to do your makeup based off of your features and accentuate what you love the best and what God has already given you. And I think that when we forget that part is when we get into the people who are like trying to change their looks with makeup. And while there's a misconception of like, oh, well, if you wear makeup, you think you're ugly, like, correction, that's not the case. It just makes me feel better. It doesn't mean that I don't like what God has already given me. It's the same way, like I said, if you get your hair done or your nails done, are you saying like, oh, I don't like the natural hair that God already given me? No, you're saying I need to take care of it. I need to, do something with it. I need to spruce it up. I feel better when I get my hair done. And to me, makeup is the exact same way. You can do it the way that makes you feel good. Like when you individualize it, I think it makes the difference. And when you use it as your self-care and not like a chore or not something that you're forced to do, when you find those moments like, okay, I'm going out tonight with my husband, so now I want to do something extra, or I'm doing content or whatever, and now I want to, show up as my best self, because there's a lot of people who will look at you, unfortunately, and say, I don't know if I can, trust what she's saying. I don't know. Unfortunately, looks do matter. So if we constantly show up and we put zero effort, if we put zero effort, I think it relays the message that we didn't want to take the time for ourselves, or we didn't feel like we deserve the time for ourselves. And we don't want like our potential clients to receive that, even if we're not intentionally doing it. Like it's somewhat obvious. Now, again, I'm not saying we got to wear makeup every single day, because I don't even wear it every day. But understanding that it does make a difference, just like every other self-care routine that we have, I think is helpful.
It is very helpful. I couldn't agree with you more. I'm not going to lie, and everybody, to each his own, right? But I believe that when we start a business or we go to work, I feel that we have to put our best foot forward.
Yeah.
Whatever your best foot forward looks like for you, that's fine, right? If you never touch a stench of makeup a day in your life, you do not desire to do it, this ain't for you.
Yes, exactly. And I'm fine with that.
Right. That is totally fine. That don't mean we don't love you any less.
Right.
If loves you, you can still be a part of the community.
Exactly.
And that is fine. I think where the important part of it is that if you want to do it, and you beat yourself up because you just say you don't have time to do it. I believe that what Destiny has talked to us about today is, one, give yourself grace, right? You don't have to do a full beat every day.
No.
You can give yourself a 15 minute and do Destiny's makeup class. She can show you how to give yourself 15 minutes to do what you desire, get that look that you want.
Yeah.
And it don't have to be expensive, right? Destiny, let me just give you the floor just to drive that one in a little bit deeper.
It doesn't have to be expensive. If you're not trying to do it all at once, it doesn't have to be expensive. I know a lot of women that I have helped so far, their biggest thing was, well, I had like a friend or somebody else, another makeup artist, try to show me, and they just gave me all of the steps, all of the products, all of the things, and it gets overwhelming. I mean, I like to think about it like, I'm not but if I go in the beauty store, I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
I just want some shampoo.
Overwhelmed instantly.
This is a lot. Yeah. So it's literally the same thing for makeup. There's a million different types of everything. So if you say, okay, well, just give me all the tips. Now I've given you 30 products, and now you have to walk in the Ulta and you're like,
yeah. I need all of these, but I don't know what to do with more than half of them.
I don't know what to do with it. I don't know what it's called. I don't know anything. And it doesn't have to be that complicated. Not if you don't want to. Now, again, if you are one of the girls who are like, okay, I want the whole thing, I kind of have a good understanding of what everything is, that's completely different. Yeah. But I think right now we're talking to the mom who's just like, I want to start, I want to spruce myself up, but I don't know where to start and I don't feel like I have time to start. Yeah. Then yeah, that's the person that I think that we're talking to. And then like you said, there's some moms who are like, I'm not touching makeup at all. And like you said, that's perfectly fine. Right. And I realized that a lot of them, it's not necessarily that they don't want to, it's some of these same misconceptions. They didn't feel like they needed to, they didn't feel like they had the time, they didn't know where to begin. So to them, it was just easier to say, you know what, I'm good.
Yeah. I like that. Okay, now Destiny, before I let you go, I want to ask you, give some of us moms, and I know you gave us some practical tips as far as like the basic essential things to do. Start with our eyebrows, throw a little mascara on and some lip gloss, right? Yeah. I want you to give some of us moms who we know, oh my God, we did not get any sleep. And I don't know about you guys. I'm a very light sleeper. I wake up for everything. I'm literally the last one sleeping, I'm the first one up. So talk to some of us moms who wake up and get these bags, these dark certain give me something quick to just throw on real quick. You know, what can I do to cover it? And then get out the door and feel good about myself. And I don't have time will be, keep in mind.
Yeah, makeup wise, concealer. I love the LA Girl Pro Concealer. And the reason why I love it is because it comes in a lot of shades and it's at Target. Yeah. We're already gonna be there and it's not expensive. So I like that one. Taking the concealer over your eyelid, under your eye a little bit with a little bit of setting powder cancels out the darkness. Now, if it's like really, really dark, then we could talk about mixing it with a little bit of a color corrector, but it's not that complicated. Right. And then non-makeup wise, I know that if you like hold a piece of ice like under your eyes, it kind of helps some of the puffiness. Yeah. Staying hydrated, which is something I'm working on too. Come on. Yeah. Staying hydrated. I got one right here too. Cucumbers. If you do a minute, like having a slice of cold cucumber over your eye sucks out. There's a chemical, they told us when I was studying for this, there's a chemical in cucumbers that like sucks out all of the whatever is making your eyes puffy and swelling. So yeah, all of those things help. And go to sleep.
Come on.
Which is something else I'm working on. Like, go to sleep.
God. Okay, that was good. That was a word. That was literally a word yesterday in one of these online churches that I've been listening to. Go lay down. Lay down somewhere. Okay. Okay, so give us in our closing thoughts. Let me ask you, tell us one, where we can partner, where we can find you, where we can book you, where can we partner with you if we have questions, just maybe a free or I don't know how your consultations work. How can women get in touch with you?
So I am on Instagram, Threads, and I believe my name is the same on TikTok for under Faith and Beauty Connect. My website is also Faith and Beauty Connect, and you can literally find everything there. My TikTok has unintentionally, well, I feel like it was intentional by God, but that's a whole nother conversation. My TikTok has unintentionally, for me, become homeschool content. But the makeup stuff, the life coaching, all of that is on Instagram and my website at faithandbeautyconnect.com.
All right. I love that, Destiny. Destiny, you wrote that you envision expanding Faith and Beauty to provide more services, resources for moms that you serve. And you hope that this expansion may include like clothes swapping, makeovers for deserving moms and events. Talk to us about some of where you see Faith and Beauty evolving within the next, I don't like saying 5 years. I like breaking it down to about 2.5.
Oh, I like that.
2 years, 2.5 years.
Wow. We're being real. So I would absolutely love, one thing that I noticed recently is how often my kids are outgrowing clothes. I mean, it's always been a thing, but like it was one of those light bulbs again recently, like, wait a minute. I know all these other moms what if we just swap the clothes? And I think my mom mentioned it to me at one point too, like, oh, see if there's something on Facebook or whatever to swap clothes. And it came back to my mind recently, like, no, I'll just do it myself.
Yes.
Because we're all like, the same age group or whatever in the same area. So why not set something up with that? I would absolutely love to partner with some other professionals in the beauty industry to give some deserving moms makeover. I feel like if people wrote in and said, hey, she's been through such and such and such and such, she really could use this, and she gets her makeup done, her hair done, a stylist picks out like 2-3 outfits for her, and then she gets to go and do whatever, I would like be over the moon to be able to do something like that. The life coaching, which I actually call mommy mentoring because I don't like the word coach specifically. I feel like it's being overused. I would much rather use mommy mentoring because I feel like a lot of the situations that come across my phone in my conversations are things that I'm either figuring out now or I've already walked through, which I also think is very intentional by God. So I think that mentoring is very fitting for that. And so that is definitely starting. I have individual sessions as well as a group coaching session that I'm starting in October for moms to understand how to use their time management better so that they can find these moments that we were talking about. Because all it takes sometimes is for somebody else to help you to understand why it's important and help you to understand that you are actually more than mom. Like God did, he loves that we're moms, and he loves that we are trying to be our best moms and our best wives, but he definitely created us to be more than that. So just having somebody else look at your schedule and kind of push you along to understand that it's really time management. It's about having the village. It's about just finding those pockets of time, whether it's to do your makeup or to, start that business or to look at your finances to see, can you leave your job? Do you want to leave it? Do you want to get to another step in your career? There's goals that I really feel like we have that we're pushing aside because we're moms, and I don't want to see that anymore. So definitely highlighting that. And I don't know what's happening with this homeschool stuff. I'm being honest. God told us to do it. I said it on TikTok, and it's literally has not been. If there has been a day where somebody hasn't reached out and asked for help, I don't really remember.
Oh, wow.
So now I'm like, okay, God,
what do you want me to do with this?
What are you doing? Yeah. Because I homeschooled them, like I said, during the pandemic. And then the last 2 years, they were in public school. And when we were trying to figure out some issues that we had, one being my daughter testing ahead of her grade, and they basically were like, there's nothing that we can do about it. God was just like, no, it's you, boo. So now we're back in it, and I'm just like, okay.
Here we go again.
But we started the other day, and so far it's been great. So I don't know how that is going to get mixed into Faith and Beauty, but I can see something brewing. I'll be excited to share once I get all the clarity on that. Because
I love it. See, there you go. You hear that voice. You hear that voice, and God is leading you in the right direction. He is preparing you, honey.
Yeah.
Okay. Follow up and give us follow-ups on that. Okay, I'm gonna let you go, but before I do, I want you to give some final piece of advice for moms. Final piece of advice that they can take along with them throughout the week, something that builds some confidence, empowers them, lets them know that there is faith in beauty. Give us something to take with us.
The first thing that comes to mind is understanding that you are more than mom, you are more than wife. And when I personally stopped trying to be perfect at those two roles, I think it opened the door for God to be able to show me that there was more that he had for me, like I said in the beginning. And realizing that all of those talents and those gifts that you actually have and those things that really do get under your skin is probably because you're supposed to do something about it. And just realizing that you are amazing. You're doing an amazing job, because I don't think that we're told that enough. And once you walk in I think the call that God really has for you, or just start asking him, because none of us actually know what we're doing, if I'm being real. When you just start saying, show me the way, show me these kids, show me this man, show me all of this stuff, you're headed in a much better direction, and you save yourself a lot of mistakes and wasted time. So realizing that you are more than mom, and that there is definitely more for you in this life.
Yes, I love that. That is so beautiful, Destiny. I just keep hearing Proverbs 31, and I think that each and every one of us is a Proverbs 31 woman. And sometimes we just get so stuck on just one side and one job, one role. But if you were to go back and you were to read Proverbs 31, you will see that you are everything.
Yes.
And a lot of it starts with you, with us. And once we build and encourage and get ourselves beautiful inside and out and feeling that way, I think that we can, in fact, we can change the world, starting with ourselves and our family.
Absolutely. I read that recently and was like, wait, she was an entrepreneur? She had help? Who told us that she was just, cooking dinner and changing babies? I don't.
Come on. Y'all left all that out?
All of it out. There's like a whole, more verses, y'all. That's why you got to read it for yourself.
Absolutely. Read it for yourself. Thank you. Read it for yourself and then put it on in the comments. We need to hear about it.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Destiny.
Thank you.
I absolutely loved our beautiful conversation.
So did I.
And I'm more amped now. Now I feel like I run over to your TikTok. Hey, look at TikTok. I gotta get back on it. Gosh, I gotta get back on it.
I wanted to quit so many times. That's the funny thing. I know we're about to close. I threatened to delete my page like 4 times.
Probably every day. God's like, no.
And because I restarted my Instagram in the beginning. I think the beginning of this year, because I felt like that's what God was telling me to do, so that my message would be a little clearer and I could target the exact people who I was talking to. But I could never just get off of TikTok. And when I was like, I feel like I should probably, give this life update, like, hey, y'all, I'm about to homeschool. But I was so nervous to post that video. And it's weird because it's like, it's me and my husband's decision. Why would I be nervous? I mean, like, heart pounding.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, okay. So I went outside, I went for a walk real quick, and I was like, I'm just going to record it now. Never would have guessed that I would receive the response. And I'm not saying that I'm out here like going viral or anything, but the impact that I was getting, like the messages and the DMs, and I was like, what is happening?
Wow. You are giving me chills, Destiny. And we gotta talk more offline. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Ladies, thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Woman Witness Podcast on the Woman Witness TV network. Thank you to my guest, Destiny. You are an amazing beauty inside and outside. And I also want to encourage everyone to follow Destiny. Check out her Instagram, check out her Facebook, check out her Threads, check out her TikTok. I will be. Like, subscribe, follow this woman of God, follow this woman of faith. And let's continue to build each other, uplift each other, get each other beautiful inside and out. Thank you so much, Destiny. Thank you so much, ladies, for tuning in to another episode of Woman Witness Podcast, The Stories at the Well. Perhaps you were chosen for such a time as this to tell your story, your truth. Until next time. Bye.
Bye.